How tough do you think you are? Are you tough like this man?
Hey! 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 I never lose.
Or weak as water? You may work out every day with abs to die for, but a tiny little spider might still scare you. In the same way, you might not be able to even lift up your own shopping bags, but you have the mental strength that's envied by many. Yes, I'm not only talking about physical, but mental and emotional toughness. You might probably know about these three men who are the most physically, mentally, and emotionally toughest people in the world. But does that mean the whole world know about them? I don't think so. So why don't we dissect into the world of this man, take some lessons and apply it to our lives? My name is Mallory Moro and you're welcome to Respect the Process. Our main goal of this show is to learn from others and find the best in ourselves, share our vulnerabilities, overcome our fears, transform ourselves, and we can transform the world. Now, the third man on our list is popularly known as the real-life Spider-Man. This guy is less compelled by death itself, and it's no wonder that the daredevil teenager became a full-time rock climber. Climbing allows him to enter the now, what Buddhists might call mindfulness. But as he grows famous, as close to being a household name in America as any climber had ever been, he starts an eponymous foundation, funneling a third of his income into it each year. Being broke and living in his van isn't risky at all to him. This guy climbed tall mountains without ropes. He won the Academy Award for the Best Documentary Feature in 2018, and he's the only person in the world to climb a 3,000 feet tall mountain without a rope. El Capitan, the mountain made up of a glacial polished granite, very slippery, but it took him 3 hours 56 minutes to climb. I actually met this guy before. Yes, you heard me right. I met him in his book, Alone on the Wall. The man who can make his amygdala, the part of the brain that regulates psychological response to fear, seems less active than other people's. He is the real-life Spider-Man, Alex Honnold. Guys, Alex Honnold proves that the human potential is limitless. But is he the only one? The inland Arctic Circle might not seem like a great place to run a marathon on barefoot and in shorts unless you are this man. The 59-year-old Dutch actor has climbed Mountain Everest in Nepal and Mountain Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, Africa's tallest peak, wearing only shorts. He went on to win the Guinness World Record for the longest swim under frozen ice, which has the entire length of a football field, and has also endured the extremes of dry heat, running a half marathon through the Namib Desert without drinking any water. Now, athletes aren't the only ones interested in this feat. Now, doctors have put this man's brain and body on ice in an effort to better understand the mental and physical mechanisms that allow him to defy the laws of nature. Otto Music, a pediatrician in Wayne State University, recently put this man's brain and body in a magnetic resonance imaging MRI machine while exposing his body to ice and analyze what happened inside him. He allowed himself to be injected with endotoxins, and he was able to regulate his immune system to neutralize the threat. Now, to silence the doubting Thomases that says that it is genetics, he taught 12 more people to do the exact same thing he did, and they all got the exact same results. He is the real life Iceman. Wim Hoff.
The cold is an absolute doorway to the soul. There is so much unnecessary suffering in the world. We take pills, kill the symptoms, but not the cause. And apparently we cannot become happy, strong and healthy? Hey, I know the way. The cold is merciless, righteous. It brings you direct in the depth of yourself. You're not thinking. Your emotions stop. You are just surviving. And it brings you in the purity of the physiology as well as the soul. And you get in a different plane than our conditioning. And that makes you a free man. I created a method. The components are breathing, mindset, and cold exposure. Gradual, non-forced cold exposure. And that's to optimize the mind-body connection. The cold, my warm friend, it brings about a whole lot of more energy, and that together with breathing makes you so powerful. But then you lose your wife and it all rumbles down. 4 children I had with my wife, and I was to be with her forever. She was the love of my life. She died. She suicided. It's a black hole within yourself. It breaks your heart and you don't know why, but the train of a daily life is going on and you gotta catch up, otherwise you lose it. So I had to be there for my children. And yes, we created a new nest. My children made me survive in that time, but nature healed my wounds. Let's do this. Just breathe in. And let it go. Fully in. We become alkaline. More oxygen is getting in toward all cells. Then the alkalinity makes the chemistry right in our body. And then we are able to take a last inhale after 30-35 of these breaths. Deeply in, letting go, and you stop.
Now imagine yourself as a little kid being bullied in school, you can't read and write, and you're abused by your own parents. How easier it will be to give up in life. But the next man on our list didn't accept that fate. He was bullied in school, abused by his own father, and can't even read and write. But instead of accepting that fate, he turned inwards and worked on himself to becoming the man he wanted to be. He learned to embrace pain and suffering to leverage his mind. He was suffering from ASD, atrial defect, which is a hole in the heart. But despite this birth defect, he was able to run 205 miles without stopping. He was suffering from obesity, weighing 300 pounds, and he was told that he's too heavy to make it through the Navy SEAL training. But to prove them wrong, in less than 3 months, he returned weighing 190 pounds. He went on to win the Guinness World Record for the most pull-ups in less than 24 hours with 4,030 pull-ups. And not only that, he went on to become the bodyguard of the Iraqi Prime Minister. With multiple stress fractures and damaged knees, he was the only member of the US Armed Forces to complete SEAL training. He is the real-life Superman. David Goggins.
I started doing this triathlons and endurance sports, ultra runs, just to test my soul, to see what I'm about, to see in a 150-mile race at mile 75 when I feel really bad. That's when you know. That's the only time you can find out what the human body is all about, what you're made of, to find out limits to myself.
Every day of my entire life, I lived like it was day one, week one of buds. So I prioritize trying to win the battle in the morning. So I always win the battle in the morning. So I get morning time, every morning I go for a run. That's the first thing I do every morning. Haven't taken a day off of running since December 2016. At 297 pounds, I decided to try to be a Navy SEAL. And to make a long story short, I had to lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months. So I knew to lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months, you're looking at 3,500 calories is a pound. So I just basically trained all day long. So that's how I went. And before I knew it, I lost the weight. I never examined myself. As a human being, you gotta examine yourself. And I guess the best place to examine yourself is Navy SEAL Hell Week. I saw myself as a very weak individual, and I wanted to overcome myself. And once I started reaching these different hurdles, I realized that we all had this superhuman potential. What I started figuring out going through BUD/S was that the harder something is, the more it was challenging my mind. So I had to find different ways to stay in the fight. And in staying in the fight, it got me tougher and tougher and tougher. So the military teaches you these great codes, ethics, morals, values. You gotta continue to work on those. Like everything, it's a muscle. You stop going to the gym, you stop running, you get weak. So the one thing I learned is to not lose that. Keep that discipline up. That's the biggest thing.
Guys, I know you've got some inspiration from this man and you are going to apply it to some part of your life. You don't have to necessarily do what they did. Remember that don't let obstacles stand in the way of achieving your goals and dreams. See you in the next video.